Hi, it's Trisha again. So today I wanted to talk to you about open enrollment and choosing the right plan, medical plan, when you aren't qualified yet for Medicare and you no longer have access to your company's plan or a medical plan that's covered by an employer. So one of the things that was critical in enabling me to retire early was to have a good idea about how much it was going to cost me to cover myself and my husband medical coverage during this gap when we're not yet old enough for Medicare and we don't really have any other reasonable options. My husband does have a medical plan offered with his employment, but really quite expensive. So I needed to kind of shore that up and make sure that I felt comfortable with the amounts that I would possibly have to pay monthly in order to have medical coverage during this time. So it'll only be probably for me, it'll be 7 years, but for my husband, it won't be quite as long. So I needed to do my research, and some of the options that I found available, some looked reasonable and others just looked extremely expensive and not really worth it in my opinion. So for example, I have my COBRA from my work that I retired from, and although it's great insurance, and while I was working it was heavily subsidized, it's no longer that when you retire. So I am offered COBRA for 18 months, but the price of it is, the last I checked, it was going to be close to $1,500 a month for two people. And that's outrageous. And that's probably one of the big reasons most people don't retire early, is because medical coverage in the United States of America is super expensive. And thank goodness we have other options. And those are the options that I looked into next, knowing that I had COBRA if I needed it, but if I didn't, and I can find something that was a better fit for my family, then I'd go with that. So I looked at also like a private insurance, and it was costly as well. And after a couple of months of researching it, I determined through help of an agent that the ACA plan was going to be best for me and my family. And I've also had friends that retired early, and they used that as well and have never had anything bad to say about it. So I felt like that was probably the best fit for us. And although it's not as cheap as it was when I was working, it still seems to be reasonable. And from what I can tell in the conversations that I've had with various professionals, is that you essentially tell whoever you're getting your medical coverage through ACA with, how much you plan on earning in 2025, and based on that you have a variety of different options that you can choose from. So you have to decide on which medical route you're going to go. Is it COBRA? Is it private insurance? Is it ACA? And I chose ACA. So some of the things that I needed to look at to see if I could lower that amount was to determine how much income I was going to need for the year, and then where I was going to get the income from, because based on that, it determines how much you need to tell the provider how much you're earning that year. So I gave her a number that I thought should be reasonable for me and my family for this coming year, on how much income I will be getting. And so based on that, she ran me some quotes on what my options were. And I had a few options, but in order to make ACA to qualify for the rebates that ACA gives you, or the lower prices, it's really dependent on how big your family size is and what your income is. And so I gave her a $70,000 income, because not that I'm having an income of 70, I plan on doing a Roth conversion. And with that Roth conversion, it should take me right around 70 and, give or take. And it's totally up to me. Like if at the end of the year, I realize that I'm making more, then I won't do a Roth conversion of the amount that I was thinking. I'll lower it to stick to that number. And so what makes retiring early and the ACA work for you is you control your income. And if you control your income, you can qualify for the rebate plans. So making 70,000, I know I can predict based on the quotes how much my monthly will be. And she gave me a list of 5 different plans that I could choose from, ranging from low 200s to, I want to say, mid 600s monthly to have this medical coverage. And what I noticed with all of the options that I did have, it didn't matter how much kind of money I was paying for the monthly to be in that plan, they all had a very high deductible. So even if I chose the $200 a month plan, the deductible was out of pocket $6,000. Or if I chose the $650 monthly, the out of pocket was $5,000. And this is maximum out of pocket. So for us, we're just concerned about if something, tragic happens or something that's a very costly medical procedure happens, that how much am I on the hook for out of my own pocket? And they all seem to be around 5 to 10,000. So if that's the case, then I'm going to go for the plan that is the cheapest in terms of monthly cost, and then just hope that nothing happens. And if it does, just know that I have to have that $10,000 to pay for that medical incident if it occurs. So I think if you're in a position where you've retired early, you should also be in a position where if a tragic medical condition happened that required you to come out of pocket for several $1,000s, that you could find the money, whether that's in your HSA, if you had to take it out of your HSA, or if you had to take it out of an investment and cash out some of your stock. I think you could find the money if you needed to find the money. So that is a good thing. But for me, so what I found was it was very important for me to control how much my income was going to be for the year. And therefore, I would be able to pick a plan based on that. And so right now it's looking like I'll probably go with a high deductible plan again for my husband and myself. And I believe the cost is going to be right around $400 a month, which isn't ideal, but it's a lot less than I was expecting. From everything that I've read and heard, some people are paying thousands of dollars, and I just can't understand that. So for us, we'll be doing the high deductible plan, which will also enable us to use the HSA. So that will allow me then to continue to put money in the HSA and hopefully reap the rewards of that later on, as that money grows. So just wanted to let you know, those were the options that I looked at. That's what's going to work best for me and my family, is to keep our W-2 income low and then bridging the gap with brokerage money. So for the 2 years prior to me retiring, I tried to load up as much money as I could into the brokerage account. So I've already paid the taxes on it. It's sitting in a high yield savings account. It does have interest on it. It's making 4% or more. And when I need to go to it, that's my go-to spot, and that will have to bridge the monies that I will have to pay for my medical, and that allows me to keep my income low, our income low. So that's kind of the key point to really being able to have low cost insurance is to keep your W-2 income low, and or even if you're using investments, to try to keep them below $80,000 a year, and then you're able to qualify to get some of the ACA benefits. So just wanted to share that with you. That's something that I'm having to research and look into, and going to be filling out all the paperwork or submitting the paperwork online. I believe the enrollment period is November 1, and I think it goes through early January. So double check. I'm not exactly sure the date on that, but that's what I recall, that it was November to January. That's the open enrollment period, and so that's what I'll be doing. Hope that helps. Hope that gives you some options, and that's part of retiring early. You plan for these things, and you just need to make sure that you do your due diligence and check out all your options before you decide. So hope that helps, and we'll talk to you soon.